What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we are going to make a video about wild animals and will they attack you, the person living here. Will they attack your dogs? Will they attack your cats? As you can see, I've got my dogs and cat. You can just see my dog's tail right here. But my cat's also in here. He's an indoor cat. But we're going to talk about, are you safe from wild animals? And so that's what this video is going to be all about. So if you're excited about this video, go ahead and crush up the likes and let's get started. So where does this come from? Well, this comes from the fact that there was an article that was posted on our Living in Arizona Facebook group. Coyotes killed 3 Ahwatukee pets in backyard in a month. So people see this. Why do we share this? Because we're just trying to raise the awareness. I will tell you, before you get too excited about anything or too worked up or too worried, the odds of you getting attacked by anything in Arizona are extremely slim, like less than 1%, okay? So whether it be scorpions that don't attack, you just get stung by accident because they were somewhere, or a rattlesnake. Rattlesnakes are not out hunting humans. Bobcats or mountain lions are not out hunting humans, but, you know, people see this kind of stuff, they worry about their pets, and then they start to worry about their own safety. Even recently in our group, Living in Arizona, we posted a video where in Scottsdale, this was just a little video that I'll show you. You can watch the full thing in our group if you would like, Living in Arizona. I'll post a link below. But watch. You can see, here's a little bobcat, and he's fighting a rattlesnake. So people saw that in our group, and they were like, well, I don't know if I'm going to move to Arizona if that's just going to be happening on the other side of my yard. Which is understandable, right? And I could see why if someone was moving here, it's just like me in the ocean. Before I actually swam in the ocean, I'd always think, Jaws, darn it, darn it. You know, I was like, if I can't see what's below me, I'm not getting in the ocean. But, you know, as you start to get used to being in the ocean, you realize it's not as bad as you thought. So this article about the coyotes killing pets in the backyard, it does happen in a place like Ahwatukee. I still hear coyotes out in my backyard here in Santan Valley, Queen Creek area, so I know they exist. But when you start seeing them get like aggressive like this pack has gotten pretty aggressive. I would say that the city of Ahwatukee should probably catch and release these animals elsewhere. Some people say they should just exterminate the animals. I don't know. I'm one that, look, I get the argument that the coyotes we moved into their habitat, but I would say that when it's gotten to this point where they're that bold and they're jumping on fences and they're coming in backyards, you know, you don't know if they're rabid, you don't know if your kids are back there. These coyotes probably need to be caught and they probably need to be relocated when they get to that point. So not every coyote pack is going to be this bold. It's kind of like a rare anomaly that happens with a pack where they get to this point where they're climbing on fences and going into backyards like that. Okay? So another one that kind of came up was about these other animals that are really the dangerous ones. And honestly, it's the killer bees. And that doesn't mean that you get all worked up about killer bees when you see bees. Doesn't mean that everyone's a killer bee. But these are things that Africanized killer bees have come to Arizona. And so let me just read this on Trip Savvy here. Killer bees are actually referring to Africanized honeybees, which are an aggressive hybrid of an African honeybee that has been bred with Brazilian honeybee. If you encounter a swarm or get bitten by a bee, do not panic. If you or someone you know is stung and experiencing shortness of breath or difficulty swallowing, call 911. The big thing that Africanized killer bees will do is they'll swarm you and you'll get bit a lot, or stung a lot. I don't know why I said bit. This person said bitten by a bee. It's actually not bitten, it's stung. Little bees, they have a stinger at the end, not bite. So they just accidentally mispronounced that, but anyway. So how dangerous are they? Well, they are kind of a thing here. So the average unsensitized person can safely tolerate 22 stings per kilogram of body weight. Thus, the average adult can withstand greater than 1,000 stings, whereas 500 stings can kill a child. So we've had this happen at golf courses where people are out golfing, senior citizens are out there golfing, and bam, they get attacked by a group of Africanized killer bees, and it makes the news. And so people, they see it on the news and they're like, oh my gosh, I got bees in my backyard, what do? I have bees in my backyard, I use them to pollinate my other plants. I mean, I don't have a problem with them in my backyard. Now, if I had a big swarm of them, I would be concerned for my animals and my own safety or guests that I would have at my house. If I had a big, you know, honeycomb growing in the backyard where it looked like thousands of bees were were living. So what else do you need to know about animals and wildlife in Arizona? So we already talked about the coyotes. Coyotes almost rarely ever will they ever even taunt a human. The only time I've ever heard of a coyote even remotely even looking ferocious towards a human was either if it was really rabid, or it had rabies and it was just like, you know, really just going crazy. You know, that might happen, or if it has young cubs. So if it has young cubs, don't try to pet it or get too close to take pictures, just walk away. Javelinas, in some cases, some people call them pecaries, but we call them javelina. The J is silent. And javelinas can be a little bit aggressive. People feed them. They're like pigs. They come into your backyard. They eat the, you know, whatever fruit, your apples or carrots or whatever you want to give them. But for the most part, you know, that's just the way it is. And then you have deer, which are not very aggressive. Although I've heard that deer will do some aggressive things. You know, they have horns, especially males or the moms. Anytime there's cubs, the wild animals are a bit iffy. There has been a black bear attack that happened in the northern high country, so that can happen. Another one is a coatimundi. They're very rare, but you'll see them in southern Arizona around Catalina or Patagonia. Their population is rising. A lot of these populations are rising. When I was a kid, it would be really rare to see bobcats here in Arizona, but nowadays seeing bobcats is becoming kind of common. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can see here in this Instagram video right here, there's two jackrabbits that you see fighting. But this is kind of crazy. You can follow us living in Arizona. It's in the description, the link. But this is from the Desert Whisperer. He gives us permission to share all of his stuff. But he's got a lot of Sonoran desert wildlife stuff on there, Pachuco's art. So this is kind of interesting to see two rabbits doing this, but you know, in the Sonoran desert, you'll see stuff like that. Another wild animal that they haven't really talked about on this list is a mountain lion. Mountain lions are probably the most ferocious of all the ones that you would ever not. The one that you wouldn't want to encounter would be a mountain lion, probably even more so than a bobcat. Mountain lions are really kind of dangerous. But you know, yeah, they don't attack humans very often in Arizona. In fact, I don't think too many have even happened in the last 30 years. I mean, I don't know when the last fatality from a mountain lion was, but it's very rare. Okay, even a bobcat. Bobcats have bitten people on the hand and whatnot. I mean, there was a story up in Anthem 2 years ago where a bobcat was trying to attack a dog. So someone was walking a little dog, and a bobcat came up and tried to attack the dog, and the owner was protecting the dog, and the bobcat bit him on the hand, so he had to go get it tested for rabies and all that kind of stuff that happens. There's lizards. This lizard right here, a chuckawalla, is not very dangerous. The one that is kind of dangerous is a Gila Monster. It moves very slow, but people try to pick them up, and if a Gila Monster bites you, it just won't let go. The only way to really get it off you is to dip your hand in water. That's the only thing that'll get that chuckawalla or that Gila Monster to let go of you. Then there is this idea that there's a spotted toad out here that's kind of dangerous, or there's a toad out here that carries some sort of bacteria or something that's pretty dangerous. I don't know the exact deal with it, but I don't know if it's the red spotted toad or another animal, but you might want to watch out for that. Here's a list of only in your state 13 animals that could kill you. It's a little bit overdone. You know, they're just trying to drum up fear, which, I mean, you know, I guess anytime someone talks about something like this, it could be a little bit fearful. But what we're trying to do is say, yes, it exists, but don't be too scared. So they're saying Africanized honeybees, banded desert centipede. I mean, I've seen these like way up in the high desert. I mean, if you want to stay away from centipedes, you probably won't see too many centipedes, okay? These bark scorpions, some neighborhoods have them, some don't. We already talked about the black bear. They don't have any grizzlies here. There is black widow spiders. You occasionally see them. Brown recluse, the giant desert centipede. I've seen this one actually up in the high desert. There's the Gila monster, the kissing bug, the Mojave rattlesnake. We already know about rattlesnakes. You know, rattlesnakes, if you stay on the trail, you'll know if there's a rattlesnake. But, you know, a rattlesnake could be in a bush. If you're going off the trail, there could be a rattlesnake in a bush or in a hole, something like that. There's the mountain lion that we were talking about, also known as a puma or a cougar. And then you have the Tarantula Hawk. I've actually seen these. These are, ooh, these suckers. I can't remember if I got bit. Yeah, I think I got bit by one or stung by one of these one time. I don't remember what my experience was with one of these, but I know they're scary. These right here. I think I was a kid. I think I got stung by one of these actually. And I got stung by a hornet. A hornet sting hurts too. But this one, pretty sure I had an encounter with this one. That's how I know this one's no fun. Not to be confused with the little June bug, okay? And then you have the Western Mojave. The worst case scenario is one of these are coiled up on your front porch. Like I said, the more you live up in the high desert, out in the desert scenery, you'll come across stuff like this. If you're living in the city, you know, where it's pretty much city all around you, you won't have these kind of wild animals around you. The worst you might have is bees. I mean, for the most part, you're pretty safe. I mean, you know, if you live in Florida, you're going to be dealing with gators. Every place, not every place, but a lot, like California has more bobcat or mountain lion attacks than anywhere. Colorado too. So, I mean, you're going to have to deal with this. It's just Arizona's got its own different stuff, right? If you're in Florida, you got pumas out there. You got bears in Florida. You got bullhead sharks in Florida. You got hurricanes. I mean, the list goes on. Florida's got a lot of stuff. Even Texas has some stuff. It depends. Are you swimming in the ocean or not, right? This kissing bug, I don't really like that thing. That thing's no good. That thing will give you a bug bite. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video saying ultimately, if you're worried about moving here because of wild animals, it's not that high of a risk. Okay? The threat level is very low. The odds of it happening to you are very small. But if you're living in the countryside, if you're living in the high desert and you have small animals, you are going to have to be concerned about coyotes. There is no doubt about that. Coyotes are maybe the biggest menace that you will have to worry about. And they're mostly not going after you. They're looking for small pets. You live in Arizona long enough, you're going to know a few people who've lost pets to coyotes. That is a thing. So I will end on that note. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing and liking these videos. You can hit subscribe and then turn on that bell right there and you get notified. So we will see you guys next time.